Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday. Last night on the vlog, I talked a little bit about how we've got to get up early this morning because we have some blood work, not only myself, but also for Mal. Just part of an annual physical. For Mal, for me, it's more checking on how my cholesterol is doing. Last time I had it checked, it was doing well. I'm hoping for good news again. Obviously, we're just doing the blood work today. It takes like, what, a week? Yeah. Week or so to get the results. It's currently 7:45, so we've got to go. Mallory's blood work's at 8 and mine's at 10, and I'm really hoping that if we're both there at 8, which, I mean, you have to be anyway, that they'll just do both of us because it's right when they open. I can just be like, I'm already here. Stick the needle in my vein. But, you know, we'll see what happens. That was great. Mal's appointment was for 8, mine was for 10, and they got to see us both. Yeah. So that was really nice. How did you do? Because I know that
I was able to stand up and walk out immediately. Sometimes I'm not, so.
Is it like something that's going to hit you in the next few minutes?
Maybe, but I'm feeling fine.
Okay.
I mean, maybe when I had this, it was traumatic enough to get me over it. I don't know.
I mean, I've told the story before, but like when I was a kid, I was scared of needles, which I think is just a normal child thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was 14, I had pneumonia, and I had to get shots every single day for like 2 weeks. They just kept alternating arms. And by the time I was done with that, I was like, needles are fine. I'm totally okay with needles. So yeah, mate, you know, it can happen. It was. I know that there's some people that, like, they have trouble getting their veins and they gotta dig around and stuff. Yeah. I'm not one of those people. I don't think I have, like, big veins. They just are easy.
She told me she used a baby needle on me, so maybe that was part of it.
Your baby. Your baby. She was nice. We talked politics, which is probably not maybe what they want you to do, but I thought it was fun and funny. So we're out now, and it's like 8?
I need to get something to eat.
Yeah, we haven't eaten anything because we had to fast. All right. Also, the sky looks like it's going to pour.
It is. Like,
good God. Those are seriously gray skies.
Aren't they?
Like, gracious. All right. We'll go do stuff. We're going to pick up some groceries while we're out, too. Is that the plan? Where did they even get the blood?
On the inside of my elbow.
I can
kind of... It looks like a mole.
Yeah. They did a really good job, Mal.
Yeah. I didn't bruise or anything.
I had a different nurse, and she did a really good job, too. Mine looks really good. You can't even see. It's a few hours later now, obviously, and we've been taking care of some stuff, and I was like, I'm going to update the vlog with dinner, and I was like, what did we shoot earlier? And we couldn't even remember that we had our blood drawn, so that's good, because sometimes you can get a little pain after, and like soreness, and I don't think I got any, so that's good. So we're doing tikka masala tonight, which looks amazing. I'm just about to...
No bread tonight, though.
Well, that's okay, because we have rice.
We do have rice.
And actually... Boo! Look at that. Look at that rice. I'm excited about it. Oh my God, it smells good.
I know. It's so good.
Oh, man.
Jasmine rice.
I'm excited. Well, let me serve this up because we got to eat. And then I'll tell you about the main thing I did today, which was finish the main story of BioShock Infinite. I say main story because there's some DLC, but I finished the main game. And I'm going to do kind of like a spoiler-free talk about it. You know, I won't be talking anything about like the story itself, because obviously if you want to know that, you should be watching the Let's Play, or if you just want to hear my thoughts, you can watch the final episode, which I think was 33. I think that was the number I landed on. But I'll be talking a little bit about it as a concept. But first, dinner. So dinner was delicious, but you know what else is too? A quick review of BioShock Infinite. So like I said earlier, this will be spoiler-free and as quick as I can make it. I just really want to provide a brief overview of the game and hopefully generate some interest in some of you to either, watch my LP for one, or to play it on your own time, because I think it's well worth playing. I've also seen some rumors here and there about the BioShock collection coming to Switch, which means that there's going to be an entire new generation of people who maybe didn't get a chance to play it on the PC or, Sony or Xbox. So that might be you in the near future, and let me try and sell this idea to you. BioShock Infinite is the most recent game in the BioShock franchise, and it's still kind of old. It's from 2013, so that's 7 years at this point. But it's definitely a work of art. I've now played through all 3 of the BioShock games, BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, and they're all really good. Really good. Not just, oh, these are good games, but these are at the top of their class for genre. There have been countless comparisons for first-person shooters to the original BioShock, even though the game is now over 10 years old. People continually are comparing it, and there's a good reason for that. It's because it's good. It's really, really good. The original BioShock is so good that you can still play it today, and it holds up. It's just an absolute masterpiece. Infinite follows on the same path that BioShock set all those years ago, and the good news is, if you haven't played BioShock 1 and 2, you don't have to. You can experience Infinite as a standalone game. That's good, I think, for 2 different reasons. For one, Infinite's a more modern game because it was made, it's the most recent game, so it's going to have a few game design choices that are possibly a little more modern than the original BioShock. And then number 2, I continually hear people talk about how they're not really interested in playing BioShock because it's scary. I will go to my grave saying that BioShock is not a horror game, but I will admit that it does have horror elements, and it might be a turnoff for some people. The good news is that Infinite does not have those horror elements. There might be a tiny thing or two throughout the course of the game that would be horror on the same level as the original BioShock, but it's not any way, shape, or form like that original game. So in that way, I think that it's definitely more accessible to players. It continues to evolve the interesting first-person shooter mechanics that were introduced in BioShock 1 and 2, where you are using guns, but then also you have what amount to basically magic powers. There's science that's behind all of the stuff in BioShock. It's not like you're a wizard. Which is actually one of the appeals of the game, all of the games to me, is that for the most part, they try to do their best to explain everything within the logic of the game world, which I appreciate. But essentially, you have magic powers. And it's really neat. It allows you to have a variety of ways to handle any particular situation, and BioShock Infinite specifically takes everything that you've come to love about BioShock 1 and 2 in regards to that, and continues to add on to it, this time with the addition of combos. So if you use Magic Power 1 and Magic Power 2 very close together, they may actually mix in some way to do a different effect. It was really neat, and it took me a little while to get the hang of it, and for some of the combinations, I never truly did. But it was nice that it was available, and it gave you a whole lot of options for however you wanted to deal with any given situation. There's also a lot of guns, and if you want to just deal with things with guns, then you're certainly able to. The game allows you, in many ways, to kind of build your character however you want. There's various gun upgrades and power upgrades. The powers are called vigors, so you can build your character however you want. The selling point of Infinite is not only the fun gameplay, but also the story, which is, I'm going to start with by saying convoluted, because it is. It is, of all 3 games, it is by far the most complex story to understand, and it'll have you scratching your head at certain points, but the payoff for some of the big reveals and for some of the twists and turns is worth it, especially leading all the way up to the end, where there's, as you may expect, even more reveals. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. This is probably a good time to remind everybody that please don't spoil the game in the comments, because I'm sure that we're going to have some people that, this is their first time learning about the game. They might get interested in the game. We don't want to ruin it for them. But the game is a masterpiece, much like BioShock 1 and 2 before it. And I do include 2. I know that some people are like, 2, but 2 is fantastic also. It's just, in comparison to BioShock 1, sure, things may not look as good, but all 3 games are well worth your time. They're all fantastic games. I would highly recommend it. One of the cool things is that you can play through Infinite. If you like it, you can then go back and play BioShock 1, and I think that you would still have a really fantastic time. If you're truly interested, start with 1, because 1's great. 1's really good. But Infinite is well worth your time. So if you're a fan of first-person shooters, or just games with really, really good narrative stories that are going to be a little bit more on the science-y / complex side, BioShock Infinite might be for you. And that's my quick review. Now, if you're looking for a more in-depth review, watch the finale episode whenever it debuts. It is episode, I believe I said earlier, 33. I have all sorts of thoughts that I give within the context of we can talk with spoilers because you've just witnessed the entire Let's Play. There is DLC that I'm going to be covering for BioShock Infinite, and I haven't played that yet, and it's called Burial at Sea. And in order to watch or play that, you should have played BioShock 1, because from what I understand, Burial at Sea does spoil BioShock 1. But you can play BioShock Infinite without any worries. I've played through the entire thing, and the amount of times it references BioShock 1 is extremely minimal, so you should be good. But yeah, it's a good game. And we haven't had a whole lot of spare time recently for Mal to continue playing through BioShock 1, but I'm excited for her to do so because I want her to play Infinite as well. Infinite is a very unique game just as a game, and also a unique game within the BioShock universe, but also one that feels tied into it almost as much as it feels different. It's very hard to explain. There's definitely elements where you're like, this is very different compared to the last 2 games, and then there's other elements where you're like, this is absolutely a BioShock game, and it was a thrill to play from start to finish. It's a lot of fun. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I gotta get to bed because this, tomorrow morning is breakfast stream, and then we also have lunch because it's Thursday, and I'm trying to get our sleep schedule back on track, make sure I'm getting plenty of sleep, and so far so good. Keeping my fingers crossed. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?